why we should never run a container as root? This must be a thought which might have came into your mind. What are the dangers? Why shouldn't I run a container with a root? Let's try this. Welcome to Network Nuts YouTube channel. My name is Alok, and in this video I'm going to show you why you should never run your containers or pods as root. Let's check it out. So I have a Kubernetes cluster here. I'm going to run a simple pod. And I'm going to use a kind of a image which is coming from Red Hat, so you can be assured about the quality of code which the Red Hat has given. So this is a demo app and I'm running a simple image, universal base image from Red Hat. Let's try this. And I hadn't specified which user account the container should run and all that. Very simple configurations. Now if I apply this, kubectl apply -f test pod.yaml, the pod will be created. Kubectl get pods -overridden. Let it create. It has gone to node 1. Yeah, that's cool. Now this is a pod which is running. Now if I go inside the pod, kubectl exec -it demo app -f bin bash, I'm asking for a bash shell. Now how can I confirm which user ID or user account the container is using to run? ID command, simple ID. It is running as root. Oh, okay. Another thing which you can see is that what Linux capabilities are available to the container. There is a very interesting command, I'm sure you're aware of it, capsh print capabilities of Linux. So it has got all the capabilities. Now one thing which you should understand is the container is running as the root. So root of container doesn't means here root of the host, right? Root of the host is different and root of the container is different. So root of container doesn't means he is the root of host. Root of host is altogether a different entity. So this is my host where it is running. Let's see where it is running. I think it was running on node 1. Yeah, node 1. So this is suppose node 1. This is my node 1. And we have an operating system here, obviously. And here I have got a container running. So this container is running as root. So root privileges are till the container only. Root of container doesn't means root of host. Is that clear? These are two different things. Now, so he will be able to perform a lot of things within the container. So if I check it, let's try doing it. I can check the capabilities, which Linux capabilities are available here. Now if I try to escalate my privileges, now which is a dangerous thing. Ideally a process running inside a container or a process should not be allowed to escalate the privileges by himself, but yes, I'm able to do it. And if I check it here, netcat, sorry, we don't have this binary and I am running as root of the container. I try to give this command yum install nmap ncat. Now technically this is a nonsense thing and a very dangerous thing. If this binary is not a part of the image, that means company didn't wanted this binary to be a part of the image. But let's see it. Am I able to install it? Yes, you will be. You will be able to install this binary. Wow, but this is not wow, this is dangerous. And if I check here netcat -f help, it is working. Netcat available, right? Yeah, it is available. So why? Just because the container was running as root. So if the container is running as root, then I was able, or the process was able to do a privilege escalation and was able to create or install the packages. This is not good. What to do? Avoid running containers as root. So I am going to delete this kubectl delete -f test app test pod, and I will use the security context within the pod or within the container. I will explicitly tell the container or tell the Kubernetes to now do not run this as root. Run this as a normal user. So let's try this. Let it delete first. We'll wait for it to get deleted. And once it is deleted, I will be supplying it is done. I go to testpod.yaml and here supply security context, right? Security context, and run here, run as non-root, true. Do not run it as root. And you can also specify the user account which should be allowed to use to run the process, say 1001. So now I am telling this that you should not run this container as root, and I have specified a user account also. Ideally, okay, I'll come to it later on. Just try to take this step, and if I apply this, what's the problem, or what is the big deal? If I check it here, the pod got created. It got created on kubectl get pods -overridden, gone to node 1 again, running. Now if I again go inside this pod and I check the user account, oh, UID 1001, and if I check my capabilities, I don't have capabilities. Current capabilities are none. Now if I try to do a privilege escalation, it's asking me for the password, which I don't have. So this is a much secure way of running a container, running as a non-root. I press Ctrl C here, I'll be coming out of it. Another very interesting thing that you should do from a security perspective is never run container as a privileged container. Now, as I have told you earlier, that even when I was running the container as root, it was not the root of the host, right? This is the operating system. Root of host is separate from the root of container. Root of container can only has this much of boundary. He will not be treated as root outside this container boundary. As we all know, container is not the process. Container is a secure area in which the process runs. So this root is limited to this boundary. But if I use a privileged true parameter, which is a very dangerous parameter, if I use this while running the container, this makes the root of the container equal to the root of the host. All the privileges of the host root will be available to the container's root. Let me show you what dangers it can cause. So if I run a container as a root user, still he will not be able to modify anything on the host machine. Let me check kubectl get pods. I will delete this kubectl delete -f test pod.yaml, and I will run it as root. So let it delete this. These concepts are very like small concepts, but big one in a sense. Let it delete. Now what I do, I open my file and I will remove these lines. Just comment these lines. I remove this. Now it will be running as the root, right? I save and come out. And if I write a security context here, okay, wait, let me write a security context here. Privilege true. I remove this. let me remove this. Let's run it at a normal root container. Now this is going to again run as root. kubectl apply -f test pod.yaml. Pod got created. kubectl get pods -override. Gone to node 1. Let me open one more tab. I am going to node 1. I will SSH to node 1. SSH my username and the IP address of the node 1. I am on the node 1. I go to root. Okay, now here I am on node 1 because the container is running, pod is running on the node 1. kubectl get pods -override, it is running. If I go inside it, kubectl exec -it demo app -bin bash, here I am running as root, right? I have got the capabilities also, capsh -print. I can do a privilege escalation also, sudo su-, right? But let me show you what it cannot do. This is the root of container. Now we have a lot of kernel parameters. One kernel parameter is I can check the swappiness /proc sys vm swappiness value. 60 is the default value. This is the kernel parameter. What this value does, leave it. But this is a kernel parameter which should be changed only by the root of the host. Now this is a process which is running on the same machine. If I try to see that value, cat sys proc vm swappiness, and see here, I think that's the right value. Cat proc sys, sorry, cat proc sys vm swappiness. I can see the kernel parameter. Let me try changing it. I'm trying to change it. Echo 61. I'm trying to change it. So means a process, a container running on that node. I'm on demo app. A container running on the machine is trying to change the kernel parameter of the host machine. Sorry, read-only file system. See, even though I'm running as root, I am not able to change the kernel parameter. So that confirms us that the root of container is not equal to the root of the host. Now, if I use that privilege true parameter, I'm going to exit from here. I delete this pod. And let's check it out. What will happen now? I will simply pass security context privilege true. Privilege true will give him as good as he become the root of the host, not only root of the container. Till now he is the root for the container only, that secure boundary area only. Now let's check it out. Wait for a minute. Okay, now what I do, I open my file again, and all I do is I write here security context and I put here privilege true. That's it. That's all. Now check it out. Still it is running as root, but I had given him an extra thing, that privilege true. Let me run it. kubectl apply -f test pod.yaml. Pod got created. Hopefully it should go on node 1, else I have to do a SSH on a different node. Perfect, node 1. Let it run. Running. So this is running on this machine. This is node 1. Right? I can check. We are running sleep command. So ps-ef, if I check for grep for sleep, I'm able to see it. Right? The sleep 1 hour is running as a root. This one. Okay. Now leave it. So we still have that kernel parameter which has got a value of 60. Now I go inside the container, kubectl kubectl exec demo app -bin bash. I am running as root, but this time I was running as root earlier also, but now I have a privilege true also capabilities, EIP. If you see their current value is EIP. EIP is like your like inherited permissions, and everything is given to it. Now if I do a su-, I'm able to do a privilege escalation. And if I do a cat of proxys VM swappiness, I'm able to see it, which I was earlier also. But if I repeat the same, now the process is trying to change the kernel parameter. Proxys VM. Wow, not wow. I'm able to change it. I can confirm it that it is not from the containers view, it is from a host view also. On the host, I'm on node 1, directly on the host. It has changed. This is very dangerous. So we should avoid running the pods or the containers, the processes with the privileged true parameter. You should now understand the difference between the running as root and running as root with privileged true. So these are some of the security things that you must consider whenever you are deploying an application on a Kubernetes cluster. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you have liked it. Thank you.